Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity comes to ask a question. What happened 100 years ago? Fans were not happy about seeing the story through flashbacks in Breath of the Wild, so Nintendo cashed in and made a game about it. And man, were people excited about this game. To see Link and Zelda try and fail against the Calamity, and having to watch as the champions be killed one by one, it was definitely a great tragedy waiting to happen, and everyone was hyped to see it. Well, we'll get to what happens after I tell you all about the gameplay. Okay, let's do this quick. You mash X and Y to create combos, and you can mix and match creating bigger attacks with bigger finishers. Though you do need to unlock more combos, but that's easy. On the main map, you'll see these little icons representing a character. These are quests that ask you to look for a certain amount of specific items. You hand over the items and are rewarded with new moves or heart containers for that specific character. The items you need are dropped by enemies you kill, so eventually they'll become available for you to use after doing story missions and side quests. You can also find food ingredients during levels, which you can use to make recipes to help you during battle, and thankfully they implemented a radar which shows you what stages have what item. Thank you. All this is way more streamlined than the original Hyrule Warriors with its 100 menu screens. Where do I go? What else? Oh, your R button controls your Sheikah Slate, and like in Breath of the Wild, you can use Stasis to freeze your enemies, use bombs, Magnesis to catch metal items, and Cryonis to stop charging enemies. What's cool about it is that every character has their own unique gimmick with the Sheikah Slate. Like Link throws his bombs, while Impa uses hers like a firework. L uses elemental wands you get after beating elemental monsters, and you can use these to your advantage against said elemental monsters, like using ice against fire and vice versa. Watch their health plummet as you combo them into oblivion. ZR is one more unique move for each character. For example, Link uses his bow, while Urbosa charges her lightning. So pick your Zelda faves and experiment. Weapons, just pick whatever, you're gonna win anyway. But honestly, I wish I could give you an in-depth analysis on how weapons work, but personally, I just use whatever's strongest and feed the rest of my weapons to it. Okay, now story. And the rest of the video has spoilers, so come back when you finish the story unless you're cool and don't care. It begins at the end. The Calamity has already hit Hyrule Castle, and Link has fallen. When Zelda finally unleashes her power, something awakens in her room. It's the marketing gimmick egg thing everyone fell in love with, and it opens a portal to the past? Uh-oh, I already don't like where this is going. It travels to a time before the Calamity where Link is still a rookie in training. You're protecting Castletown from an impending army of bokoblins. The king says that this is an omen from the upcoming Calamity, so you hack and slash your way through your enemies until you find the egg on the floor. When Link returns with the egg, it reacts to Impa's Sheikah Slate and activates all the towers from Breath of the Wild. The king is impressed with your murdering skills, so he promotes Link to Zelda's bodyguard. As Link, Impa, and Zelda investigate the towers, they run into an old guardian that gets awakened and attacks them. With the help of the egg, they hack into other guardians to shoot the berserk one down. Okay, first of all, I can take this guy on no problem. I'm a parry king. But second, why are you all bringing Zelda everywhere? She's literally the princess. If anything happens to her, you're all doomed. Well, they defeat the Guardian and they take the egg to Michael Jackson and an e-girl. Robbie and Purah find future photos of the Calamity and warn Link and Zelda. They inform the king and he tells them to find pilots for the Ava, divine beast, that they just so happen to find. Since Hyrule tries to be as inclusive as possible, they try to get pilots from each race across Hyrule, but for some reason they all try to attack you when you step into their territory. Being the good colonist you are, you beat the sense into them and they agree to become the pilots. From there you get the Master Sword from the Lost Woods and you meet Aster the Seer, who is actively trying to resurrect Ganon. You also beat the sense into him and leave him with a warning to try not to resurrect world-ending beings. From there you have run-ins with the Yiga clan, but no biggie. It's revealed that the Yiga clan are helping Aster with the whole resurrecting Ganon thing, so they try to kill Zelda, keeping her from sealing Ganon away. Oh, and Aster also has a little egg of his own. A little deviled egg. Anyway, trying to kill Zelda doesn't go well for the Yiga clan because with the help of the Sheikah Slate, best e-girl Purah doxes the Yiga, and they get swatted immediately. Dude, how did we lose to Ganon again? Geez, the divine beasts just make the bad guys look like ants. Master Koga and Suga aren't totally thrilled about having thousands of their men slaughtered earlier that day and confront Aster, but he basically tells them it's all part of his plan. Meanwhile, at the Zelda residence, the king gets news that the Calamity just so happens to be on the same day as Zelda's 17th birthday party. Damn, how embarrassing. They planned that thing on the same day? Well, obviously someone's gonna have to cancel. The king sends Zelda off to the Spring of Courage, and it's cool because this is an extension of a memory in Breath of the Wild, but with Impa, which is always an improvement.
Well, really, it was thanks to your strength.
Now you listen to me.
Okay.
You said that you are the only one who can't live up to your potential. But that's completely untrue. I mean, you saved all of us just now. All of your effort, your research, is not in vain, Princess.
Thank God.
Back at the ancient lab, Robbie and Purah get ambushed by the Yiga, trying to take their Chica Slate, but Purah tosses it to the egg and it goes off. Zelda, returning from her training, gets back to Hyrule Castle when the Calamity strikes, which is a little jarring because the Calamity struck when Zelda was all the way over here in Breath of the Wild, but it's a small change. I'm sure they won't change anything else. So I guess this is it. This is the end. Oh, it's gonna be good. The champions notice the Calamity and head into their divine beast. Link and Zelda run into the king, and it's cool to see this sword used by someone it was made for, instead of tiny Link over here. The king tells Link to take Zelda and run away to safety. They make a run for it as the king is surrounded by guardians. The important information the egg was running off with made it to Zelda, but uh-oh, bad news. It just tells her that the divine beast will be possessed by Ganon and the champions will die a painful death. Zelda cries into the egg, and it shoots a beam into the sky. Meanwhile, the champions are fighting off the elemental Ganons and are on their last knee, when out of nowhere, the future champions for Breath of the Wild come out and save their predecessors? What? I guess this isn't the end and a proper prequel. Oh no. Okay, but let's see where this goes. The champions take back their divine beasts. While that happens, it's revealed that Aster was using souls from the Yiga clan to feed Calamity Ganon, and Koga and Suga take this as a hint to disassociate with this weirdo and they take off. Some battles happen against the Calamity, and Link is surrounded by the 4 elemental Ganons. Zelda finally saves Link by awakening her epic powers. They won the battle but not the war, and Zelda gives some cringe speech.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
After the speech, Master Koga reveals himself and wants to work with Zelda and will have the full support of the Yiga clan. Without asking too many questions, Zelda agrees. Sure, they were trying to kill you earlier, but the past is the past. Unless you're this game. Speaking of which, remember how the king died and Zelda had to step up and be the leader Hyrule needed? Well, take all that development and throw it out because he's back, baby. And he was right to appoint me as Zelda's bodyguard because he too is a Perry king. Literally all of Hyrule gets together to take down Aster and Calamity Ganon. Throughout this mission you're doing pretty good, taking down baddies left and right, until, oh my god, a blood moon. Man, what if we lose? Yeah, what if we... Oh, it just extends the playtime. Ooh, we won, yay. Aster starts talking like he's an important character, but luckily Ganon has had enough of him and cuts his lines short by absorbing the dude and at the same time turning your egg against you. Though you smash that bitch into pieces.
This is what dying feels like. Whoa, you really? There's like white. There's like only white in the lens once. Whoa. What in the world?
Zelda tears up again while conveniently remembering that she actually built the dang thing and named it Terrico, but forgot about it because her dad took it away. Bro, when my mom took my DS away, I turned the house upside down looking for the thing. Now it's just you versus Ganon. Link cuts him down while everybody watches, like, guys, you guys aren't gonna help? Okay. Link seals Ganon away and that's it. The future champions have their final words with their predecessors and they leave. And thank God changing the past doesn't affect the future because these guys would cease to exist, but I guess this just makes a good ending alternate timeline. Huh? What? That's not all? If you decide to keep going, you can rebuild Terrico. When you grind it out and gather all its parts, it comes back and you get a cute new credit scene. So that's charming, I guess. This game is so weird to feel about. On one hand, the gameplay is super fun and action-packed, but the story is just so lame. Don't get me wrong, I love the character interactions, they make me smile. Well, except when Rivali's on screen. This guy is still such an asshole, like, dude, Link hasn't said anything to you, damn! I love what the future champions add to the game. No character feels the same and that's awesome, but I just feel so disappointed about the ending. Let me just be sad. It would have been so cool to actually feel powerless in one of these games. The joke about the warrior genre is that you're just a one-man army, but to be cornered and overwhelmed by enemies could have been such a huge turn of events. Throughout the game I wondered, how are they gonna make us lose? And I guess the guys over at Koei Tecmo didn't want to answer that either. A level that gets close to that though is the side mission called Siege of Fort Haiteno. You just have 10 minutes to defeat 2 bosses, but you gotta defeat mini bosses to get to the rooms they're locked in, and they disappear mid-fight, so you gotta chase them down to another locked room that's guarded by other mini bosses, and by the time you're there, you're out of time. It doesn't help that the map is infested with enemies and it's easy for you to get juggled. Another thing they could have done was made you play as the bad guys. In the original Hyrule Warriors, there's a moment in the story where the heroes think they've won, but you then get to play as Ganondorf to take back Hyrule. And since Ganon is an unlockable, they could have had you wreak havoc across Hyrule. Maybe play as the ghostly form like how you control the Divine Beast and just end it. Another thing I'm a little upset about is the soundtrack. Don't get me wrong, it's good. I like the remixes for the Champions theme, and the song When You Infiltrate the Iga Clan reminds me of a certain part of this Powerpuff Girls opening. It's good, but nothing too memorable. And this is after the godly soundtrack the original Hyrule Warriors had, but to be fair, that game had the whole Zelda playlist at its hand, while this has to work with the Breath of the Wild style. I'd recommend this game if you're into hack and slash action games. The things you can pull off in this game are incredible, and when you're fighting a tough enemy with only a few hearts left, that really gets the blood pumping. But if you're also a stickler for the Zelda lore, you'll be super annoyed, unless you like the story, which, you know, good on you, but you'll learn. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe and tell me, did you like the story, or were you also disappointed? Oh, and Happy New Year everyone! This has been the Super Bagel, signing off.